Okay, everybody, today's mini lesson is on stem changing verbs in the preterite tense, the past tense. I know the screen says present tense. We're just going to review that very quickly to make sure everybody understands how this works because we can build off from that to create the preterite. So first things first, we see three categories of stem changing verbs: O to UE, E to IE, and E to I. And we remember that these can affect every type of verb, whether it's AR, ER, or IR. We see examples of each under the O to UE and E to IE. Oddly enough, we only see IR verbs in the E to I category. That's important. Keep a note of that for later. Remember what we're going to do. Go to the end of the verb, find the last vowel, and count backwards to the second to last vowel, and that's where your stem change is going to occur. It's easy when there's only two syllables, but when we notice a word like almorzar that actually has multiple syllables, we can find where our stem change occurs rather easily. And what that means is in every form of the verb, once it's conjugated, we are going to change the O to UE, the E to IE, or the E to I, with the exception of the nosotros and vosotros conjugations. So as you see these in practice, you can see that the O has become a UE in every form for the yo, tú, él, usted, and the ellos, ellas, ustedes. The exception is nosotros. And that's because we have a dual syllable ending that we're adding for that conjugation. So the stress falls on dormimos, podemos, volvemos. So it's pulling the stress away from that O. It remains in its normal form. But every other form becomes a UE. We see the same thing is true for E to IE. Every form that's conjugated in the present tense will suffer the IE stem change with the exception of the nosotros and nosotras. And in the E to I stem change category, we see the same thing occur. Every verb form will have this stem change happen, except for the nosotros and nosotras, where the E remains. Now, as we go into the preterite tense, let's take what we learned about the present tense and reduce. First of all, you should notice that there are no longer three categories, but really only two. We have O to U and E to I. Okay? No longer UE, but just U. No longer IE, just I. So we only have two categories. Also, you're going to notice that all the ones in red no longer suffer a stem change in the preterite. In the present tense, they still will, but in the preterite, there is no longer a stem change. Do you notice that the words that are highlighted in blue all are IR verbs? So there's three simple rules to remember for stem changers in the preterite tense. Number one, they only occur in IR verbs. Number two, we have two types of changes, O to U or E to I. And number three, it only occurs in the third person. So we see the first person is yo and nosotros, singular and plural. The second person, tú and vosotros, singular and plural. The third person, él, usted, ellos, ellas, ustedes, singular and plural. We see that that's where the stem change occurs. So again, the three rules were this. They only happen in IR verbs. We only have two categories, O to U. We also have an E to I, which we'll see in a second. And they're only going to happen in the third person, singular and plural forms. Let's look at this verb, preferir. In the present tense, it's an E to IE stem change, but now it's just E to I. Remember, only IR verbs. We only have O to U and E to I stem changers, and they only occur in the third person, singular and plural forms. And let's look at pedir. Again, this was already just an E to I stem change, but it only happens in IR verbs. We only have O to U or E to I stem changers, and it only happens in the third person singular and plural forms. Your turn for practice. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and pause the video here in just a second and see if you can conjugate these verbs into the preterite tense. Really quickly, as we glance at this screen, you should only see two of them that will not have a stem change. Hopefully you can recognize them really quickly. When you get finished, please check your work and see how well you did. Ready? Pause. Great job. Hopefully you recognize that dormir with the yo and seguir with the nosotros are the only two that did not suffer stem changers because all the rest are in the third person. And we saw our O to U here with the verb dormir, the present, the yo form, dormí, while the el durmió, the O became a U. And we also see the E becoming an I in every form because these are third person singular and plural forms. Muchas gracias y adiós.